Good evening and welcome everyone. New Year's Eve. It's very nice to see that there's quite a few people have joined us this evening from outside the monastery, so a warm welcome to you. So just before we begin, just outline the plan for this evening, and I want to stress this is the plan, and just in case the weather does something different, because part of what we're planning to do this evening is to do at 11:30 p.m. to do a circumambulation of the monument, the Ajahn Chah monument in the corner. Has anybody turned the lights on that this evening? They're on? Great, thank you for that. Yeah, it's good. And so the shape of the evening, and we're also being joined, the early part of the evening is being live streamed, because this is our regular Sunday evening guided meditation. So we'll begin with just a few minutes of chanting, and then I've invited Ajahn Krunuko to lead the chanting and the guided meditation this evening. And that'll wrap up, the guided meditation aspect of the evening will wrap up at about 8:30. And then the live stream will be closed down, because for the rest of the evening we'll be having a meditation vigil. And so you can either do, within this room, you can either do sitting meditation or sitting meditation or standing meditation. And then if you wish to do walking meditation, if you could go elsewhere, like outside. And you can come and go, after 8:30, people can come and go as they wish, according to their own energies. We do ask that, obviously, if people are coming and going from the hall, just to be as mindful and quiet as is possible. And then at 11:30, as I mentioned, we'll have the circumambulation, and if the weather's looking good, and right now it's looking good, and once we have done 3 times around the stupa, we'll be doing some chanting right up until midnight, and that'll be our way of bringing in the new year. And so people are welcome to stay for as little or as much of this evening as they wish, and just take the opportunity to practice in this way. People that aren't living here, when you do leave, be careful out there. Be on the roads if you're traveling on the roads, and to be attentive. And even in these country lanes, just as a reminder of what is pretty obvious, that there's a lot of living creatures, a lot of animals. It's not just people and cars, but a lot of animals, because we're living out in the countryside. Okay, so. Okay. So good evening. We'll begin with the first part of the
evening chanting in English on page 19, and then we'll go to page 37, and that's the Buddha's words on loving kindness, followed by the reflections on universal well-being on page 41. To the Blessed One, the Lord who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he expounded so well, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed, Noble and perfectly enlightened One. So, page 37. Now let us chant the Buddha's words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease. Whatever living being
beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world.
And page 41. Now let us chant reflections on universal well-being.
May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained, when they act upon intention. All beings are the owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs.
So, like Ajahn Ingsko, I'm pleased to see people turning out to join us this evening, and also to those people joining us online. Beginning the new year on a peaceful note. In 1978, I had my first peaceful beginning to a new year. I was on retreat with Lumpur Samedo in Oxford. And years before that, I think I've been out drinking with my friends. And it was a cold winter that year, and we were all huddled in this, like it wasn't a very well insulated hut where we were meditating, but there was this red light glowing in the middle. And I thought, this is the way to start a new year. Yeah. And the way we begin things, does influence the way things go. So if we do beginning the year in a skillful, peaceful, wholesome way, it can influence the way the coming year will go. So, bringing to mind the Buddha's words on kindness and wishing ourselves and others well-being, freedom from suffering, these are skillful aspirations to bring to mind, to begin the new year. So how we begin things can influence the way something goes, and he could say the same for meditation too, how we begin a period of meditation and what we bring into the meditation session. I like the word beginner's mind. Say the beginner's mind doesn't have probably expectation, sort of interest. Oh, I'll try this meditation, see how it goes. Rather than trying to get back to a previous experience, or dreading it even. So just having an openness of mind to, try this meditation and see what happens, without desire to get anything, not expecting anything, or dreading anything. Just being open and interested in this process of meditation. And it's like the beginner's mind. And if we're aware of these tendencies, that's good. Just to be aware of what we're bringing into the meditation, but we don't have to be, caught up in it. We can more reflect on just having an openness. We don't know how it will go. But, what we can do is set up the right conditions for this practice of meditation to be a benefit. So, having been here in the Dhamma hall, supportive conditions, peaceful place, people with wholesome intentions around us. And this, can support this meditation practice. And, to use this time of meditation to, turn our attention more inward. So developing this inner awareness. Maybe today we've been doing things, busy things, talking, relating, doing, more involved with external things, but now, to turn our attention more inward. to, the experience of this mind and body in this present moment. Say, awakening to the experience of mind and body in this present moment. And the practice of mindful breathing, when we breathe in, this can be a way of just bringing our attention more inward, following the breath inward. And it can be very helpful to use some sort of meditation theme, just to help us to keep our awareness more in the present, rather than the tendency for it just to follow habit, our thoughts to go off into the past and the future, or daydream, fantasize. Something just to ground our attention more in the present moment and the experience of this present moment. So mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of breathing is one way, or maybe we might have a theme of meditation, something we can hold in mind, a theme, a contemplation. So whatever just can help you just keep your attention more in the present. And mindfulness of the body is a useful practice because, if we're to some extent aware of the body, we know to some extent we're in the present moment. If we lose the body completely, then maybe we're lost in the realms of time and abstraction. So we're using a meditation object or a meditation theme just to keep the mind more in the present, bring it out of habitual thoughts. We can also maybe use a reflection with the breath. A mantra like Buddha, breathing in with the word Bud, breathing out the word To. This word Buddha means being awake, being aware. Or, as we chanted this evening, breathing in with the thought, may I be well. Breathing out with the thought, may all beings be well. So just using a theme of meditation to steady the mind in the present. in one meditation tradition, they described the process of meditation like rain, which probably is quite relevant in our particular climate. But rain in terms of the words R, A, I and N. And R standing for recognizing. So, turning our attention more inward, just recognizing what's going on in the present moment, bringing awareness to that. The A is accepting the experience of the present moment. Maybe at first, we want to get rid of something, we don't want this, especially if it's something unpleasant. But even how to just be more accepting of an unpleasant experience. Which, what I find helpful is a sense of just breathing with even unpleasant experience, just breathing with it. Help me more to be more accepting of it. And, not trying to absorb into the breath to get away from the experience of the present moment, but how to just stay connected to it and be more peacefully with it. And when there's more a sense of acceptance, then there's what comes from that is more steadiness of attention. And this is where we can start to investigate. See more clearly what's going on. In terms of, the physical body and the energies in the body. Investigating that. Are the energies we experience in the body related to the mind? Especially like, the feelings that we have in the stomach and chest. Being more of the feeling tone of the present moment, whether it be pleasant, unpleasant. And as we become more steady on the feeling tone, then maybe we can see what's giving rise to the feeling tone. Is it something happening in the body or something happening in the mind? Again, we're tuning in more deeper level to know the mind. The quality of mind in the present moment. Being aware of the thoughts that intend to manifest from that quality of mind. Worrying thoughts, anxious thoughts, restless thoughts. Or maybe, thoughts of kindness. We feel good, we feel peaceful. Yes, knowing the mind. And as we steady that attention, maybe we notice maybe the gaps between the thoughts, the silence between the thoughts. And as the silence is, get a little longer, maybe we begin to see how thoughts about the past and the future just rising and passing away in the present. We begin to see just the flow of the rising and passing of thoughts. So these are things we can investigate. Now in this particular tradition, they say N is for nourishing with compassion, which is important, to have a more accepting, non-critical, judgmental attitude in meditation, not being too critical of ourselves and others, judgmental of ourselves and others. But I also like the word N as like non-identification. Sense of not getting so identified with some of these mind states. Knowing them as just accumulated habits that we can let go of. We don't have to identify with them. Knowing them for what they are. And the more we understand these and are able to let go, then we can more tune into more the peace of the mind, this peaceful awareness, purity of awareness. So this is how the process of meditation can unfold. Recognizing, accepting, investigating, nourishing with compassion or non-identification. Today I received a message from a good friend of the monastery, and in this message he asked that, in this teaching on mindfulness, the Buddha says putting away grief for the world. And he said, how can one do this when there's so much brutal conflicts happening? And my response was, the Buddha encouraged putting away grief, but not putting away kindness and compassion. And when we hear about conflicts and the way this affects us and the mind, and being more careful, not getting into hatred and ill will towards people who are causing these conflicts. And a suggestion for practice in terms of kindness, in terms of compassion, is to think of the people who are not as fortunate as we are, to have a peaceful, safe environment, but bringing them to mind. And as we breathe in and out, with the thought, may 224 bring more peace and less suffering for these people. So, like bringing a wholesome thought, a wholesome intention into the world, rather than getting caught into grief or hatred or whatever. So I suggest, during this evening of our peaceful vigil, from time to time, just to remember those people who are not as fortunate as we are at the present moment, and bringing them to mind. May 2024 bring more peace to their lives and less suffering. And bringing something wholesome into our world. May 2024 bring more peace to living beings. May 2024 bring more kindness into the hearts of living beings. May 2024 bring less suffering for living beings.